Okay, good morning, everybody. So we're doing a series here. I could do it all in one, but I opted to do it in three pieces, just to give you a shorter piece for reflection for the day. And so today we come to the section of Colossians, and we're going to look at 3:18, and this one talks about wives. Wives, be subject to your husbands, as is fitting to the Lord. People have a hard time with this, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But let's see here. In Genesis 3:16, it says, "Unto the women he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception in sorrow. Thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee." Okay. Interesting. Also, I saw in Esther. Let me find this verse really quick here. Esther, chapter 1, verse 20. The edict the king issues will be heard throughout his vast kingdom, and so all women, from the least to the greatest, will honor their husbands. Okay, honor is another word used here. In Ephesians 5:22 says, "Wives, submit to your husbands unto the Lord, as unto the Lord." When you go and you see these verses, and people have a hard time with this, in 1 Corinthians, I believe it was, there's a hierarchy, as we talked about, where Christ is the head of the house, the husband is the head of the whole house, the husband is the head of the wife and the child, and then together they are the head of the child. So there's like a hierarchical system in the household. Now, as we talked about with husbands, it doesn't mean that you lord and you rule your wife with terror, aggression. You don't demand submission. We saw that phrase a couple times, as to the Lord. Christ doesn't force us or beat us into submission. Rather, when we saw like the husbands, where it said in Ephesians, "Love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her." We love our wives, and we lay down our lives for them. We protect them, we nurture them, we provide for them, and we treat them with respect. I did talk in 1 Peter. I went verse by verse. And granted, people walked out on me. The women, they didn't want to hear what I had to say, but I was just reading the Word of God. But in 1 Peter 3:1 it says, "In the same way, you wives, be submissive to your own husbands, so that even if any of them are disobedient to the word, they may be won without a word by the behavior of their wives." See, you do this because you love your husband. Proverbs 31, chapter 31, verse 12. It says that that the godly wife does not seek to harm her husband, but to do him good all the days of his life. You don't talk about him behind his back. You don't lie to him. You don't try to antagonize or put him down or deceive him to get what you want. But out of love, you submit to your husband, but your husband treats you as a godly husband, that makes you love him and want to submit to him. And submit just means, as we saw in 1 Corinthians, our bodies are not our own. The wife's body belongs to the husband, and the husband's body belongs to the wife, and all belongs to God. So, for the reflection for today is, we might want to think about what ways would we maybe be able to say that we're not being loving and submissive toward our husband. And I talked to the husbands too and said something similar, and you can go check that video out. But for just the wives, because that's what we're thinking on today, is there anything that you've done? Have you put your husband down when you're just with your friends, or even in front of your family, or directly in front of him? Maybe even in front of the kids. Or do you submit to him? Do you try to build him up as the head of your household and the one who is to care for you, to love you, and to make sure that you have everything you want and need especially, as we saw in Exodus 21, that the things that the husband is to provide for the wife is food, shelter, and clothing, and love. So, but is he a godly husband that makes you love to be there for him and submit to him and do him good and not harm, and to have only affection for him and desire for him? And if not, what ways can you think of that you don't do this? And how could you maybe change those things? And that's something to think about today, because the church is the bride of Christ, and he loves the church. We are called his bride, and the bride loves Christ and wants to do the things to be obedient to him. We bend the knee to Christ. So it's that type of a thing. He loves us so much and watches out for us that we in turn want to be obedient to him and do the things that we should, and we do them joyfully, and we love him so much that we just do them because we love doing it for him. We have reverence for him. We want to bring honor to him, and we don't want to put him to shame and be before the eyes of the world. So that's just something to think about for today. And I'm dealing with the family, and you could definitely check out this whole thing of the husband, the wife, and the children also. So I hope that you enjoyed this reflection for today, and we'll be back for another one on Monday, and we'll wrap up with children on Monday. God bless you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be back. Have a great weekend.